Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans, about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliak, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. And this week, our guest is Chet Oleski. He is with the American Warrior Association, and he's visiting the retreat this week. And I asked him to sit down and tell us about the organization and the amazing work that they do. So, Chet, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's a wonderful experience.
So if you would, tell us a little bit about your military service, when you joined, what branch you were in, and how it went for you.
I started 18. I went in the Air Force. I entered to be a crew chief. I started on U-2s.
Wow.
I ended up going to A-10s, F-16s, and then EC-130s, and then AC-130 gunships, where I finished and retired 20 years.
Wow.
In 21. Yeah, I retired as a master sergeant and had a pretty good career. Saw the world a couple times to Korea, some Afghanistan, UAE, Europe, and a lot of states.
Yeah,
so
sure. I just did an episode last week, recorded with Francis Gary Powers Jr.
Oh, wow.
And he is actually the founder of the Cold War Museum, which is nearby. And he's just a great guy. We had a wonderful conversation. But I know you're quite familiar with his father.
Yeah.
What was with the transition to all the different aircraft? Was that out of necessity for the Air Force? They needed crew chiefs for different things? Or did you just get tired of a U-2 and go want something different?
No. So I started U-2s, and back then we had a shred just for U-2s. We were a 2A3X3J, and we were U-2s only. It's a very small community, 2 locations, California and Korea, and then we had different deployed locations. But once the Air Force saw that we couldn't just stay on those 2, they opened the shred to an H, which was A-10s and U-2s. So then the transition started with that, where people were going to A-10s from U-2s and vice versa. And then a few years later, they kind of opened, once you became a 7 level as a crew chief, you could pretty much go on anything. It wasn't common back then. I think I was kind of at the beginning of some of these changes. My first duty station was Korea, which there hadn't been a first term brand new airman in Korea in I guess like 20 years or something. And there was like 3 of us. We were like the first ones. So made it through that. That was a tough base to start at.
It's a cold place, isn't it?
Yeah.
People don't realize how cold it gets there.
The climate changes in Korea is just, summer 100% humidity and it's like 100 degrees out. And then the winter is -20 for 4 months straight. Raining, monsoons. You get everything there. So I went to A-10s on my second trip to Korea, and then I went back to U-2s as a choice. And then I met my wife in Korea the second time, and she went to F-16s. She was also a crew chief. So when we got married, they moved me to her. So that's how I got to go to F-16s. And then we were married about 5 years, and they took 600 7-level crew chiefs and took them from fighters to heavies, and I got selected in that. So it was a forced retrain. There was no tech school, there was no nothing. It was just you move to another airframe and go out there and learn it.
That's right.
Which wasn't that difficult.
No. They all got wheels.
Yeah.
They all got comm gear. They all got engines.
Yeah. So for me, going from fighters, where crew chiefs did a lot of the work, hydraulics, all that stuff, but then going to heavies, where the crew chiefs don't do as much. We had hydraulic troops, we had engine troops, we had that actually, did their stuff.
Yeah, you were more of a manager of the maintenance program, where FMS would come in and do some things. Well, I can tell you that I'm kind of envious, because those are all aircraft that I rarely saw. I was in SAC. I was at Loring, freezing to death. Then I went to Guam, and all we had were bombers and tankers.
Yeah.
And occasionally we'd get some fighters that would roll in. We did have one U-2 once.
Yeah.
That we had to guard, and they stuck it in they were real nervous about it, and it couldn't be out where it could be seen by a satellite and all that kind of craziness. But yeah, that's quite a selection of aircraft. Those are really cool planes compared to a KC-135 or we'd see the 141s come in all the time, but there's nothing fancy about them.
Yeah, I mean, going from U2s and then eventually going to EC-130s with electronic combat 130.
Yeah,
like there's only one place that we have them, and then going to AC-130 gunships. Like it's still a small community. So
yeah, well, there's not many of them. Yeah. So you're in, and you're closing in on your 20 years, and so are you planning on getting out, or you want to stay longer, or how was your transition? What was that all about?
I was, from the get-go, I wanted to retire. So I think my goal was always 20 years.
Yeah.
I had hoped maybe I was further along in my rank structure, but yeah, I didn't really want to do more than 20. I wanted to do my 20 years and enjoy it and move on.
What was that transition like for you?
I got kind of lucky, I think. I mean, COVID hit the world in 20 and changed everything.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, I was on AC-130s, section chief. So I had like 150 crew chiefs that worked for me. And we went down to a skeleton crew of like 9 crew chiefs scheduled for a 12-hour shift. So we had a night shift and a day shift.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were running 18 guys for 2 weeks, and then they would get time off and another 18 would come, right? But for that whole time, out of the 150, you still have 130 guys that aren't working. So, and myself included, we all had to stay home.
Yeah.
So they called me every day, had a lot of phone calls every day, and that was my job, still maintaining EPRs, all that kind of stuff, but we all kind of worked from home unless you were on that 18 crew.
How long did that go on?
About 8 months.
Oof.
Yeah.
That's like being in the middle of an ORI nonstop.
Yeah.
God, Lord.
So we rotated guys out. I mean, there were some guys that in that 8 month, like they weren't good enough to be the 9, on a shift. So they had a lot of time off and stuff like that. But so it kind of gave me a good transition from active duty life to being with my family more and settling in with that, you know, and stuff, being home, being present. So
Right.
it was a good transition for me, I think.
And so the organization, talk a little bit about what it is, what it does, how it came to be.
Will Spencer, he's a Navy SEAL, 30 years, wrote the program, came up with the idea for the program. We are American Warrior Association. It's AmericanWarriorAssociation.org. You can go on there and check it out. We are a faith-based organization for veterans, active duty, police, fire, EMTs, even 911 dispatch can sign up with us and go on a 5-day trip. We have various locations throughout the country that we go. California, Colorado, Idaho, Texas. We got one in Georgia. We have a few more in the works and stuff like that. But we take somebody completely free to them. We pay for a plane ticket and their stay, all their food, everything. It's a Monday through Friday trip. Fly out Monday morning. We all meet up in an airport and we shuttle to a ranch or where we're staying. And and we try to teach them a little bit about moral injury and which goes along with PTSD. Try to give guys tools that week that they could put in their tool belt and take home that help them in day-to-day life. You don't have to have a deep-seated medical condition or anything to go on these trips. It is open to everybody that has served. And we just try to give a guy a tool. If we can give everybody a tool that week, that they take home, whether it's journaling or what have you, or maybe even just a little closer to God, that's a win for us. And then they would travel back on Friday, back to their home and stuff like that. We do a lot of places. We do hiking, horseback riding, archery, fishing, stuff like that. Outdoorsy, try to get them away from their phones and away, just some peace and quiet. Throughout the week, they'll have hours a day to do whatever they'd like. A lot of places we have cornhole, guys get together, and it's just being around other veterans and making friendships with like-minded individuals that helps them the most.
Sure.
I am a leader on a trip, but I am no means like the expert, but we all learn from each other and just throughout the week, we have fires every night that we sit around and talk about. And that's where we kind of do our meat and potatoes of the book that we give them and stuff like that. They have about 30 minutes of reading that they need to do every day. And then we kind of talk about it in the evenings. So,
do you find, well, let me just ask you this. How powerful do you believe it is when veterans come and group together and sort of reconstitute that tribe that they miss so much?
A lot of guys do, and they get out of the military and they go home, right? And not everybody's from a military town or whatever. A lot of guys go back home and they have nobody that they know that has seen or done or, been a part of the same situation that they have for however many years, whether they do 6 months and have a medical condition and get out, or they do 30 years, it's an experience that they've done in their life. And it's nice to be able to connect. And I think that's why military guys get along so good and stuff, because we had to, you meet all people from all walks of life, and then you go back home and the same people that were there when you left, but they don't look at things the same way as you do.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of veterans that start to have issues because they may have believed that they could create the same sort of bonds that they had during their time in service in the civilian community, and you just really can't.
No.
I mean, the closest you're going to come is in public service, such as firefighting or law enforcement. Yeah. But even then, it's not quite the same.
No.
I know I'm in touch with people that I served with 40 years ago. And, we just talk, and it's like I saw him yesterday.
Yeah.
And it's just something special about it. Sometimes it's hard to describe people, too. The program itself, what do you think is the most important aspect of the program? Is it the faith-based initiative? Is it the camaraderie? Is it something else that you delivered to them?
I mean, the faith is a huge part, the camaraderie, getting guys together, but kind of getting guys out of their comfort zone for them to open up and stuff like that. They're going to a place that they've never been before, in maybe a state they've never been, and stuff like that, and just getting out there. We tell everybody on the first night, you've already done the hardest part about this week.
Yeah.
It's getting there.
Sure.
Getting them on a flight to have faith in us that we're going to be there and take care of them for the week. That's a big step for a lot of guys. I mean, we've had a lot of guys that don't show up, and but for the most part, everybody shows up. But the military guys have these quests that they have a plan if I didn't show up. And I think it's the funniest thing. They're like, we didn't know if this was really real. We were landing in LA and we had the whole week planned out just in case you didn't show up. And I was like, I told you I was going to be here. And so it is kind of funny to hear some of the stories of what the guys think about, but that's the stuff that was instilled in us in the military. And as a cop or firefighter, you plan for the worst all the time and stuff like that. And then once I do pick them up and we're on the bus and we get to the ranch and stuff, you can see that relief come off them. And then they have a good, when we first get there on Monday night, it's usually dinner time, and we have a nice meal, and then we meet around the fire, and you just see guys really start taking it in then. So
when you do get together, and the group starts to open up. What do you find are the issues that they're dealing with the most?
A lot of guys have, I mean, with the wars that we've been going through, a lot of guys have combat experience that they have dealt with. But I see a lot of issues relating with their family and if they're done with the military or retired as a firefighter or cop or what have you, like it's reintegrating back into life. The cops, I mean, it's so hard for them. They work a 8, 10, 12-hour shift, and then they have to go right back home to their family. A lot of military, you're deployed for 6, 8 months, year and a half, and then there's kind of that, you get to just push it all down while you're out there, and then a year later, then you have to whatever. But
you have time to work through it.
Yeah.
After your deployment, you're going to be with the family for months.
Yeah.
Whereas in law enforcement and firefighters, they're with them for 8 hours and then it's a new shift.
Yeah.
And a new set of craziness.
Yeah. The integration for the police and firefighters that they could have seen a suicide or, had to shoot somebody or whatever happened that day and then go have lunch with their wife an hour later. It's like, how do you deal with that and then try to act normal?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's a difficult thing. But I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen is it's just guys can deal with what the job is, but it's trying to act like a normal father or a normal husband or son, daughter, acting like that after what they've gone through, is the biggest thing I've seen.
How many are there in a typical group that you host?
We've had groups as small as 8, but normally it's usually 12 to 16. And that's including me, and I usually have a volunteer. Sometimes we have a chef with us, depends on locations, stuff like that. So, but it's usually around 12 or 13 is a normal group.
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be a couple, me, and I usually have a volunteer that has been on a program before, and then they want to come back to help others and stuff like that. So usually a couple of us, and then say 10.
And how many programs do you run, say in a month or a year?
So this year we have 25 men's trips and I think 22 women's trips.
Wow.
So we don't do any couples, but spouses are able to go. They can go on a men's or women's trip. We try to cover as many as we can.
And for the female warriors, is it an all-female cadre of mentors or counselors?
Yes.
I don't know what you all call them, but
yeah. So we call them guides, because we're guiding them through the information and stuff. So there'll be women's are just the same. They usually have 2 or 3 of them, one guide, and then usually a couple volunteers.
Wow. Can a warrior go on a trip again and again, or are they limited? Like us, we have limited resources. We don't have families come back unless they're invited by another warrior. But
so yes, they can come back. So especially we have worked with Texas. We're based out of Fort Worth, so we've been kind of growing out of that, and working with the cities and stuff like that. They can come back whenever. And then if you're a veteran and you could say you come and you want to come back next year, we ask that you bring 2 other veterans with you. So if you can get 2 others to sign up with you, then you come back the following year, something like that.
So do you have a lot of repeat customers?
Yeah. So we have a lot of guys that want to volunteer. Our volunteer list is amazing. I wish we could take more volunteers back, but we try to spread it around. The guys go back. I always need somebody. And if you come back as a volunteer, you're just trying to assist me with getting people to talk.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes, we're sitting around the fire and I'm talking, explaining some stuff, and then waiting for people to jump in, and a volunteer can step up and maybe tell a story that sparks somebody else to tell a story and stuff like that. So,
right.
Yeah.
Is it hard to get them to talk?
I mean, me personally, I have a few tricks. a lot of the places we go, we have like usually a 3-hour bus ride to get up to the ranch. I kind of put my headphones on and I sit up front with the driver and kind of not pay attention. And I'm not trying to be rude. And I tell the guys once we get there. But if I'm sitting in the back with them, they all start asking me questions about the week, right? But if I'm up front not paying attention, they all start talking to each other and getting to know each other. And a lot of times, by the time we get to the ranch, they're all hugging and brotherly love. And, so by the first fire that night, guys are just waiting to tell stories and talk about things. So,
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've had groups that it was like pulling teeth, but, but then I've had groups that like, I don't really have to do much. Like they're teaching each other, so it's pretty cool.
So how does one sign up to go?
So if you go on AmericanWarriorAssociation.org, you can click there and you can see all about us and then apply. It's a real quick few questions. And then once that's submitted, we have a couple ladies that do intake interviews and they'll call and they're going to ask you and just try to get your background, just what you have issues with, or if you don't have any issues, that's fine. Just trying to get information on you and stuff like that. And we're going to get you a plane ticket, get you signed up. We have the whole year scheduled out before the year. So we're working on our scheduling process for 26 right now.
Right.
And locations and stuff like that. And then, what month you're able to go, and then we'll get you on a trip and get it all scheduled out. Now, some guys schedule out 8 months away and they come on a trip. Some guys are like, hey, I want to go as soon as possible, and we can get them on a trip, usually within a couple weeks. So
is there a waiting list, or is there a particular time of the year that's more popular than?
So the beginning of the year is usually slow, getting people signed up. And then summer is busy season. We have a lot of trips during the summer. It's easier for some people because their kids are out of school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then the kind of the end of the year, you get kind of the older crowd that don't have kids in school and stuff like that sign up big time.
Well, listeners, the web page is awa-usa.org. I recommend everybody take a look at it. There is a donate button there. Down at the bottom.
We do take donations.
Yeah. Where does most of the funding come from?
We have 3 big fundraisers that we do. We have a golf tournament. We have what we call a hoedown. It's a very nice, fancy dinner.
If somebody wanted to go to a fundraiser.
So
they're in Texas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. All those are out of Fort Worth.
Okay.
Oh, so we have our 3 big fundraisers are the hoedown, which is a fancy dinner in September. We have the Fort Worth Stock and Rodeo show. That's in February. That's a big fundraiser for us. And then we have a golf tournament that's April, May timeframe, all in Fort Worth area. Pretty big events.
Yeah.
So, and then we have grants. We have expanded, and we've had some people writing some grants for us and stuff like that. But majority of it is donated.
Where do you see the organization in 5 years?
So 2018, it started. Couple trips that year. I'm saying like 3 or 4 maybe. And then I got into it in 21. So COVID had kind of killed it. And then we started getting going in the summer of 21 again. And I came as a participant. Now we're up to 25 men's and like 23 women's this year. So, and we're only going to be expanding more trips. So, our team has gotten bigger over the last couple of years, and we just keep riding that ship that way. And the more people we can help, the better. So,
right. So for the listener out there who's saying, why should I go to this? What am I going to get out of this? What's your answer to that?
My answer is, first off, you're going to get some camaraderie. You're going to meet other like-minded individuals. You might get closer in your faith and maybe pick up a tool or two that you could use in your day-to-day life. And not to mention, you're going to get some relaxation, some of the most beautiful places in the world or in the United States, and some fun. We're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
Us military and cops, firefighters, we like to crack jokes on each other. We like to have fun, and stuff like that. And there's no shortness of that. So I'll tell you that.
Yeah, great. Well, listeners, there you have it. Visit the webpage, donate what you can to help out. Think about going on a trip.
Yep.
Or, if you've got a relative or a friend or somebody who needs to go on a trip, share the podcast, send them a link to the webpage, and try to convince them to sign up. It's not going to kill them.
No.
It's going to help them. And you definitely want to encourage your veteran buddy or your relative who may be having some trouble, with moral injury, PTS, just all the issues that come with dealing with the VA. They just need a break. And this is probably the perfect opportunity for them to get back on the right path with people who understand them and will be honest with them and will share tools and information that helps them move in the right direction and reclaim their life so that they can be a better husband, a better father, a better friend. This is an amazing program, and we want to make sure that it's around for a long time. So go to the webpage, donate what you can, and check it out, learn all about it. And if it's for you, even if you're not sure if it's for you, go ahead and sign up, and somebody will call you, and you'll get a lot more better understanding of what it entails and how it can help you. So, Chet, can't thank you enough for sitting down with us today and telling us all about it.
No problem. It was a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Well, listeners, you can find us on all the major platforms. We are on YouTube and Wreaths Across America. We'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. Until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.